Hi class, today we're going to look at Chapter 5, Lesson 7, Solving Proportions. Our essential question is how to determine and solve proportional relationships. Now our vocabulary are equivalent fractions are two fractions equal to each other. A proportion is an equation stating that two ratios or rates are equivalent or equal. And again, ratios are simply another way of saying fractions. And a rate is when you compare two different units of measure. So when you're talking miles over hours, and then you're comparing them as fractions. The cross product of any proportion are equal. So cross product is when we are multiplying diagonally. And a coefficient is the number multiplied to the variable. For example, we have 6 over 8 equals 3/4. There are a few ways we can prove that this is accurate. If you look at the number 6 over 8, you notice that both 6 and 8 are divisible by the number 2. So when I go 6 divided by 2, my answer is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So therefore, 6 over 8 is equal to 3 over 4. They do have an equivalent fraction to each other, since 6/8 can be reduced to 3/4. Go ahead and turn your notes to the back side now. Now, we want to determine whether each pair of ratios form a proportion. State yes or no, and you must show your work. Multiply diagonally using the cross products. So again, when we're looking at cross product, we are talking about our two values that can be equivalent to each other. So if I multiply 5 times 8, I end up with the answer of 40. And then if I multiply 8 times 2, my answer is 16. Well, therefore, they are not equivalent to each other. So since they are not equal, and we also need to know that they can simplify to be the same answer, but that does not create a correct proportion. So our answer is simply no, it doesn't. So they are not equivalent to each other, and the two ratios do not form a proportion. Now in example 2, we have 7 over 3 and 14 over 6. So again, we can multiply diagonally using the cross product, and 7 times 6 is 42. And then we have 3 times 14, and that is also going to give us the result of 42. Now, since our answers ended up being the same, we know that they are equivalent to each other. So 7 over 3 is equal to 14 over 6, making them equivalent fractions, and yes, they are proportional. So our answer is yes. Go ahead and take a couple of minutes and complete these problems on your own. Now, in this section, we are going to solve our missing variable using the proportions. So for our steps, step number 1, we're going to multiply the cross product diagonally. Then for step 2, we will divide each side by the number with the variable, which is our coefficient. And step number 3, we will simplify our answer, and number 4, check our solution. So in example number 5, we have 4 over 12 equals y over 9. So in this case, my first step, I'm going to multiply the 12 times y, because I want to multiply diagonally, I get 12y. Then I'm going to multiply the 4 times 9, and 4 times 9 gives me 36. Now in my second step, I'm going to divide each side by the number with the variable. So I'm going to divide each side by the coefficient. Divide by 12, and I'm left over with y equals 36 divided by 12, which gives me a result of 3. Now to make sure that we are accurate, I'm going to substitute the 3 back into the original problem. So I have 4/12 equals 3 over 9. And if I use the cross product method, I can check my solution. 4 times 9 is 36. And then 12 times 3 is also 36. So therefore, they are equivalent fractions and they are proportional. So my answer of y over 3 is correct. Now in example 6, we're going to do the same exact thing where we have 6 over 18 equals 4 over c. So we are going to multiply diagonally 6 times c, and we get 6c equals the 18 times 4, and 18 times 4, we get 72. Now the next step, we're going to divide each side by that coefficient. So divide by the 6, and we end up with a solution of c equals 12. And this is our final solution. So the last part, what we can do is go ahead and check our solution by plugging in the 12 in for c. So we have 6 over 18 equals 4 over 12. And when we multiply diagonally, we notice that 18 times 4 is 72. And then we have 6 times 12 is also 72. So they are both equivalent fractions, therefore the proportion is correct, and our answer is equal to 12. Now go ahead and take a couple of minutes and answer example 7 and example 8 on your own.